Hello, my name is Jerry Wylie, and I'm coming to you from Oregon in the United States of America. I'm here to share my story of getting a dementia diagnosis and the absolute devastation that followed. Thank you for listening. I was diagnosed with vascular dementia in 2015 at the age of 62. A follow-up diagnosis in 2017 confirmed vascular dementia and added Lewy body dementia to the mix. So now I have what they call mixed dementia. It all began with a diagnosis of diabetes at the age of 50, which is what led to my vascular dementia. I'm sharing my diabetes diagnosis so you can see the difference between it and a diagnosis of dementia. There was a treatment protocol in place for diabetes. It not only included accurate information about the disease, but also included referral to a dietitian, a diabetic class for thorough education about the disease, and a list of things I could do to hopefully slow the disease progression. There was a discussion explaining long-term prognosis and what I might expect. Their treatment of me took into consideration that I was now at high risk for stroke and heart disease. So preventative measures were put in place for those things. There was, and still is, regularly scheduled visits to monitor this disease. I was not left on my own. They didn't say, there is no cure, so go home and get your affairs in order. Fast forward to age 57. I was no longer comfortable reading blueprints and bidding on construction projects. I felt a need to change jobs into something I could better handle now that I was getting a little bit older. Little did I know, dementia had already set in and my decisions were not what they should be. I found a new job doing commission-only sales for the first time in my life of newly constructed homes for a very large home construction company. It wasn't the best decision considering we were in the middle of the nation's worst economic recession, but there was no stress of management and it seemed to help. Soon I was asked to start a new branch of that company while in the middle of that recession. It was in an area of Oregon with the lowest unemployment rate, and I took on the challenge even though it was a huge risk. When I started the branch, it was me, myself, and me, along with a telephone and some advertising support. Even with dementia, unbeknownst to me, I built that branch from 0 to 70 houses per year. Also, unbeknownst to me, I was depleting my mind's reserves, and I had begun making very irrational decisions. Fast forward to age 62. Seemingly overnight, I could no longer make a decision. I was confused by the simplest of tasks. I started making appointments for large projects, very important appointments, and not showing up because I had no knowledge that I'd even made the appointment. Nothing I tried would help. I had Post-it notes. They called me Mr. Post-it. My mind was failing me. The first thing I did was I called my boss and I said, it's time to hire somebody else to pull this sled because I no longer can. It was after that phone call, I called my doctor and made an appointment and told him something was seriously wrong with my brain. I once could lead a large corporation and now I can't decide if I should shave first or brush my teeth. That was a decision I couldn't make at that time. He made a referral for me to receive a complete neuropsychological workup to determine if maybe I have dementia. This is my story of that diagnosis, and I truly hope it reveals to you what I learned to be so true. People being diagnosed with dementia are being treated inhumanely by the medical community. Yes, it is 2018. we are being treated inhumanely. What's really sad is that what happened to me and the way I was treated is being needlessly repeated every 3 seconds somewhere in the world. To this very day, doctors do not practice a treatment protocol for dementia at all. When I received my diagnosis, I assumed there was something we could do to help ourselves. So of course, that was my one and only question for the doctor giving the diagnosis. What can me and Kathy do to help ourselves? He went silent. He thought about it. And he came back saying, all I can tell you, Mr. Wylie, is that we do have a few medications we can try that might help with the symptoms. But you should go home and get your end-of-life affairs in order. There was no disease information provided at all. Not a single referral to support. There was no discussion of eating and lifestyle changes that might help slow the course of this disease. There was no discussion of things that we could do to help ourselves. Naturally, we walked out of his office feeling lost, worried, confused, not having a clue what to do next or what laid ahead of us. We had effectively been stripped of all hope and purpose, which is a very dangerous thing in and of itself. Imagine yourself with no hope and no purpose. We had seen all the images on TV and social media that depict old people who couldn't eat or remember their loved ones. You know, the ones that certain associations use to raise funds for a cure, but really all it does is scare the hell out of people. But I was only 62 years old. And yes, I was terrified. And I wasn't able to process it. I had dementia. And I needed much more than that. Consequently, I had to watch my wife go downhill because her life, as she knew it, was changed forever. We both fell into depression. Isn't that a violation of our civil rights to be needlessly allowed, if not pushed, into a deep depressive fog, severe anxiety, suicidal ideologies, and about 1.5 years of unnecessary, inhumane, easily preventable suffering at the hands of our doctors? Why are they ignoring our needs? I can only surmise. The raw truth you will not want to believe, in my opinion, is if Big Pharma doesn't have a pill for them to prescribe, if there is no medical procedure they can do, and no more money to be made, you get shoved out the door on a clear path that leads to unnecessary suffering. This needs to stop. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last to speak out about this. Christine Bryden, who has dementia, started advocating internationally for better diagnosis procedures 20 years ago. Kate Swaffer, who also has dementia, started speaking about this very same thing 10 years ago. You can't tell me doctors don't know what they are doing. Let me ask you this. I wonder, does there need to be an onslaught of malpractice lawsuits to change this unacceptable behavior? I don't know. All I know is this. It almost took my life, and I can't scream any louder than what I'm screaming today. For me, it was 1.5 years of nasty, unnecessary, inhumane suffering. I almost took my own life before I finally found Dementia Alliance International. Let me repeat that for you. Dementia Alliance International. who in just 3 short days brought me from the pits of hell into hope and renewed purpose. They made me laugh for the first time in 1.5 years. They helped me start a local support group because there wasn't anything available out there for my wife or me. Well, there was, but it was an hour drive and it was once a month. Once a month isn't enough, and guess what? I don't drive, and it's just not worth it to drive an hour there, spend an hour in a support group, and then an hour back home. It just didn't make sense. So we started our own support group, and with the help of Dementia Alliance International. Let me tell you a few more things. Because of Dementia Alliance International, I got to speak at an international conference on dementia in Chicago just this past July. I brought them almost this very same message. Because of that speech, I got invited to speak next year in Jamaica. Put that on my bucket list. It was an invitation from the Alzheimer's Association of Jamaica, and I really look forward to that. And also, thanks to Dementia Alliance International, I'm going to have a booth just this coming month at Oregon's Geriatrics Conference in Sun River. Thanks to Dementia Alliance International, I now have hope and renewed purpose. I still have dementia, but I have hope and I have purpose. Because of that hope and purpose, have I said that enough? Hope and purpose is what they're missing. I am now living very well with dementia, and today I'm the vice chair of Dementia Alliance International, and I hope to someday be its chair. Now it's time for me to pay it forward, but it isn't easy. Dementia doesn't go away and it doesn't slow down. Some days I can barely get out of bed, and some days I feel normal. I can't predict it. My memory continues to worsen. In the beginning, it was short term. Now it's eating away at my long term. Depression is also a constant battle. But the peer-to-peer support I get free every single week from Dementia Alliance International is what keeps me going. It's like getting my battery charged every week. If you're listening to this and know somebody with dementia, please Google Dementia Alliance International and help hook them up. Age doesn't matter, dementia type doesn't matter, and we will do everything in our power to improve your journey and their journey with dementia. We want to improve your lived experience with dementia, and that, my friends, is now my passion. At Dementia Alliance International, much of our time is spent picking up after negligent doctors by gently delivering hope and purpose to people who've been inhumanely diagnosed just like I was. It happens every day. We save lives. We do it in our own hometowns, all across the United States and all across 47 other countries. Yes. Dementia Alliance International may just be 4.5 years old, and we may be made up of people just like me that have dementia, but we have successfully entered 47 countries with our peer-to-peer support groups. Membership and all services that we provide are free to people with dementia. We host weekly online peer-to-peer support groups. We host monthly online cafes. We give members a voice at dementia conferences and making videos just like this one. We help them set up support groups in their own communities. We give them a voice on social media. We have a chair at the World Health Organization where we are speaking up on the needs of people with dementia and how to get human rights included in every nation's national plan on dementia. We're active with the United Nations for some of the very same reasons. We are trying to create positive change from our from the ground up, starting in our homes and going throughout the world. We are working with young physicians around the world, trying to help them improve their practice as it relates to dementia and delivering a diagnosis. It's a daunting job. It requires a lot of work. The list of what we do goes on and on. And the important thing for you to know today is we do it with absolutely no paid staff. We do it out of our homes on a computer, and we have a budget that is less than what a part-time employee would receive on an annual basis. So much of what we do, believe it or not, is still self-funded. Just ask Kate Swaffer. She has taken the biggest hit there. She self-funds thousands of dollars every single year. Folks, this needs to change, and that's why I'm speaking today. There's a new diagnosis every 3 seconds. That calculates to more than 10 million new diagnoses each year, each one being delivered much like mine was. So the demand for saving lives is rapidly growing. The work that Dementia Alliance International needs to do grows every day. Would you like to help us save some lives? If you're an individual listening to this, please consider a one-time or even a monthly donation to Dementia Alliance International of any size, $1, $5, $10, $100. Heck, if you can afford it, send us $10,000. We need it. Every penny will go directly to people living with dementia. If you're a business owner or the manager of a business, please consider what amount you could donate to us annually. Not a penny will go to waste. Same thing. If you're one of the many Alzheimer's associations out there across the globe, please consider setting up an annual donation to Dementia Alliance International as quickly as you can. Why? Because we believe together we are stronger. Any size of annual contribution will help us. Let's start working even closer together. Simply go to www.infodai.org. That's www.infodai.org and click on donate. Should I repeat that? Go to www.infodai.org and click on donate. It's as simple as that. I never thought I'd say this, but the life that you save could be your very own. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your donation. And also, thank you for sharing this post. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.